Analytics have taken over modern baseball for both good and bad. On the pitching side, certain metrics like wins and ERA are not the holy grail measurements like they once were. On the hitting sides, hits and batting average are not heralded like they once were. This isn't necessarily a wrong way of thinking, but it does come with its issues. One major issue on the hitting side is pretending that average doesn't matter. A poor batting average does not necessarily indicate being a poor hitter, but on the flip side, a good batting average usually does make you a good hitter. I'm Nick Dwyer here for the 10th inning, going over the batting average myth. Batting average has been taken out of style, and people don't care about it as much as they used to. Again, not a totally wrong way of thinking. While not the end all say all, usually a good average equates to being a good hitter, as opposed to the modern thought that average means absolutely nothing. Now, most people will look at it and say, well, average doesn't mean absolutely nothing. However, average has gone so out of style today that we have to go back and look why it actually does mean something. Looking at baseball history, those with the best averages tended to be some of the best hitters in the game. OPS is widely used as one of the quote best measurements of how good a hitter actually is. And this takes average out of the equation, looking at on base percentage and slugging percentage. While it takes it out, does it really? A good average tends to equate to a good on base percentage, and that's half the measurement of OPS. The other being what type of hits for slugging. Some of the best hitters ever had good averages equating to a high OPS, thus bringing alive the batting average myth. Now, again, a good average does not always equate to a good OPS, but more often than not, it does, indicating a good hitter. A good OPS is recognized as anything at 760 or above. An all-star quality player's OPS is usually recognized as 830 or above. The closer to 900 or above, the better for a hitter. Currently, on Baseball Reference, there are 217 hitters with a 300 or above batting average lifetime, not 299, anything over .2995, according to Baseball Reference, for players with 3,000 or more plate appearances. This does include Negro Leaguers. Out of those 217 players, 196 or 90.3% of them have an OPS above 760. Now, 760, while I said good, that indicates an everyday starter. So 90.3% of players were considered an everyday starter according to OPS. When you go to the all-star quality level players, 114 of them, or 52.5% of them, had an OPS above 830. And above 900, 39, or only 18% of them, had an OPS above 900. Now, a 900 OPS is the best of the best. Overall, in baseball history, only 72 players have an OPS above 900. When you look solely at that measurement, 54.2% of the players with an OPS above 900 have a career average of 300 or more. Now, if we change the qualifications to just Major League players, no Negro Leaguers, no American Association, Federal League, or Players League, the number of the 300 club falls to 180 players, 92 of which have an OPS of 830 or above, or 51.1%. So while it's not the end all be all, the notion that batting average means nothing is false. Again, it doesn't automatically mean that one is a great hitter. That is for the better that notion has gone out of style, because a good average does not always mean someone's the best hitter in the league. However, a good batting average, again, usually equates to being a good hitter. Now, where OPS has its faults is someone like Ichiro Suzuki. Especially modern hitters, Ichiro is one of the best modern hitters in the game, and one of the best contact hitters of all time in the game. However, according to OPS, he is a career 757 OPS. He would be barely an average everyday starter according to OPS, but that's where you can't always look at it. Ichiro also did play until he was 45 years old and came over when he was 27. So if you look at just his prime years from 2001 to 2009, he would then boast a career 811 OPS, which still would not be considered an all-star caliber player. Now, the main reason for that is Ichiro did not hit for power. 2,030 hits, 228 of which were doubles, 68 triples, and 84 home runs. Those are not power numbers, but Ichiro was one of the best pure contact hitters in the game, and that's something that has kind of gone out of style. Again, being a pure contact hitter does not necessarily mean you're a great hitter. However, the OPS argument has its flaws, especially with someone like Ichiro. Now, Ichiro is going to be the outlier more often than not in this argument. This again goes back to a 333 batting average in this time frame and a 311 lifetime average. Most people would consider Ichiro a good hitter overall, where this argument has its flaws, but that stems from batting average first and foremost. Going back to the original point of this whole video, that batting average more often than not equates to a good hitter. Now, it might not be the best hitter in the world. Hitting has definitely changed, some for the better, some for the worse. Pitchers are throwing harder than ever, more spin rate than ever. It's harder than ever to hit the ball. So batting average is not the end all be all. But batting average still usually equates to being a good hitter. The higher the average, the better the chances of you being a good hitter are. Of course, you're going to have your outliers. Power hitters should have a higher OPS in general, but batting average still usually does help. So, again, it's not a perfect measurement, it's not a perfect argument, but a good average usually equates to a good hitter. I'm Nick O'Dwyer here for the 10th inning, and this was the batting average myth. Let me know down in the comment section what your thoughts on average were. What would you consider the best tool for measuring a hitter today? Because again, it's not just one thing that people look at and say, this is what makes a hitter, this is what doesn't make a hitter. What tools do you look at to determine, is someone a good hitter?